What if the secret to stronger muscles and less joint pain isn't in the gym, but in your spice rack? After 60, inflammation quietly eats away at strength, making stairs, balance, and even sleep harder. But science shows 4 everyday spices can fight this damage and help your muscles recover naturally. Stay with me. Number 2 is probably sitting in your kitchen right now. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, the Japanese physician who lived past 100 years, used to say that vitality is not built in one day, nor is it lost in one. It is a result of what he called daily micro-decisions, the small acts that, repeated every day, shape the way we age. Choosing to walk instead of sit, eating lightly instead of heavily, adding a simple seasoning to a meal. These are not miracles. They are choices that over time decide whether the body bends with ease or struggles with each movement. Modern science has echoed this ancient wisdom. Dr. Andrew Weil, one of the pioneers of integrative medicine, has long reminded us that the great illnesses of age are rooted not only in genes or accidents, but in inflammation that burns silently inside us. And just as food can fuel this fire, food can also cool it down. Spices, the very ones that many of us have used all our lives without much thought, contain compounds powerful enough to calm inflammation, protect muscles, and keep energy flowing in the body. What is most surprising is that these spices are not exotic or rare. They are not hidden in the corners of faraway markets. They are often sitting quietly in the kitchen cupboard, waiting to be used with purpose. Turmeric, ginger, mustard seeds, cinnamon, 4 flavors familiar and simple that can shape the way the body resists aging. Yet many of us do not use them consistently or do not know the right way to let their strength awaken our own. This journey is not about adding complexity to your plate. It is not about searching for miracles. It is about remembering what has always been close at hand. Forgotten flavors that carry the power to preserve your strength after 60, to keep your muscles alive, to soften the pain of joints, and to remind the body that it is still capable. The question is not whether it is too late. The question is only this: are you willing to let these small daily choices become your shield? Today we will walk together through these 4 spices. Each one holds a story of tradition and a voice of science. Each one offers not a cure, but a path. A path to keep moving, to keep lifting, to keep living with dignity. It is possible. It is still possible. And it can begin with the flavor of what you place on your plate. There is a kind of damage that does not announce itself with swelling or sharp pain. It lingers quietly, almost invisibly, burning low like embers under ash. Doctors call it chronic low-grade inflammation, but for many, it simply feels like tiredness that does not go away, or muscles that seem weaker without explanation. Day after day, this hidden fire slowly eats away at the tissue that keeps us upright, balanced, and independent. What was once easy, lifting groceries, bending to tie shoes, rising from a chair, begins to feel heavier, not because of the years themselves, but because this fire has been left to burn unchecked. Among the simplest shields against this silent erosion lies a spice known to nearly every kitchen shelf: turmeric. Behind its golden color is curcumin, a compound studied for its ability to regulate the very messengers of inflammation, called cytokines. These messengers, when left uncontrolled, break down muscle over time. Curcumin gently quiets them, while at the same time awakening recovery pathways in the body, such as the mTOR system, which tells the muscles it is time to repair and grow. In this way, turmeric does more than season food. It signals to the body that strength is worth protecting. Long before laboratories confirmed these effects, families in India had already woven turmeric into rituals of healing. Golden milk, warm milk stirred with turmeric and a pinch of black pepper, was given to elders after illness, as if to rekindle what had been lost. It was more than comfort. It was nourishment, tradition, and care passed from one generation to the next. The warmth soothed the spirit. The spice supported the body's resilience. In those moments, turmeric was not medicine and not merely food, it was both. Today we know that this pairing with black pepper was not coincidence. Black pepper contains piperine, a compound that increases the absorption of curcumin by up to 2,000%. What seemed like a grandmother's intuition has been confirmed by science. A small pinch can transform a simple spice into a powerful ally. Even half a teaspoon of turmeric, taken with pepper in tea, broth, or warm milk, carries with it centuries of tradition and the quiet precision of modern research. Think of turmeric as a silent bodyguard. It does not shout. It does not draw attention. But with every warm sip, with every golden spoonful, it places itself between your muscles and the silent fire that wears them down. Day after day, it stands guard, reminding your body that strength can still be preserved. And just as the golden sun rises each morning, this humble spice can remind you that resilience too can be renewed. When the body finds such protection, the muscles no longer stand alone. They are supported, they are nourished, they are given space to recover. And as turmeric guards in silence, another root waits to awaken movement, to invite blood and warmth back into the limbs. That is where our journey leads next. There comes a time when the legs feel slower than the mind wishes them to be. You want to rise quickly from a chair, but the body hesitates. The knees complain, the feet grow heavy, and a walk that once felt effortless demands more patience. Much of this change comes not from weakness itself, but from a quiet decline in circulation. After 60, blood does not flow to the muscles with the same vigor it once did, and with less nourishment, stiffness settles in, healing slows, and the body feels as though it is losing its rhythm. Yet there is a root that has long been known to awaken warmth, where the body feels cold and stagnant. Ginger, with its sharp fragrance and fiery taste, contains gingerol, a compound that gently opens the pathways of circulation, easing blood into tired muscles and swollen joints. This same compound calms inflammation, reduces stiffness, and even encourages mitochondria, the small powerhouses within muscle cells, to work with renewed strength. In this way, ginger does more than flavor food. It becomes a spark that rekindles the flow of life through the limbs. The people of Japan, many of whom live well beyond 90 with vitality intact, have always understood this. In the morning, a small amount of grated ginger often finds its way into a bowl of steaming miso soup. For them, it is not only taste, it is a way of greeting the day with warmth, of awakening the body after long hours of sleep. The heat spreads gently from the stomach to the muscles, loosening joints, sharpening digestion, and preparing the body for movement. This quiet practice reminds us that health is not always found in medicine, but often in the patient wisdom of tradition. Simple though it may seem, the presence of ginger in daily meals has the power to change the way a body feels. Its warmth spreads like a gentle hand across the joints, soothing discomfort, while its brightness stirs energy where there was once heaviness. Some slice it into tea, others let it dance in stir-fries, and some even chew a small piece before setting out for a walk. Each form carries the same message. Movement is welcome here. Circulation is welcome here. Life is welcome here. Ginger does not push or force the body. It does not demand. It invites. It invites the legs to move with a little more ease, the joints to bend with a little less pain, the heart to feel lighter as it sends blood through the body once again. It is not an instant miracle, but a steady companion, coaxing the body toward the rhythm it longs for. And so, when stiffness begins to loosen and the blood begins to flow more freely, the body remembers what it feels like to be alive and in motion. Yet warmth alone is not always enough. Sometimes what muscles crave is not just circulation, but a spark to relight their inner fire when fatigue lingers. That spark has long been found in a seed both small and mighty, waiting quietly in kitchens across the world. After even the smallest effort, many notice a deep ache in the muscles. It is not the pleasant soreness of youth after hard work, but a kind of heaviness that lingers too long. Sometimes this happens after a short walk, carrying a shopping bag, or bending in the garden. The muscles seem tired before they have even begun. This weariness is not always a sign of overuse. More often it is the mark of oxidative stress, the slow rusting of the body's tissues under the constant touch of free radicals. Left unchecked, this stress weakens recovery and makes every movement feel like a greater burden. Here, a tiny seed has long carried the power to lighten that burden. Mustard seeds, sharp in flavor yet humble in appearance, hold within them selenium, magnesium, and a wealth of compounds that awaken the body's own anti-inflammatory enzymes. Unlike medicines that impose themselves from outside, these seeds whisper to the body's own defenses, urging them to rise again. In doing so, they help muscles clear the weariness of oxidative stress and prepare to recover more swiftly, more fully, and with less pain. Long before science explained this, Families across India and other parts of Asia trusted mustard oil as a healer. Warmed in the palm, it was rubbed gently onto weary legs, stiff shoulders, or the backs of those who had carried heavy burdens through life. The massage did not simply soothe the skin, it brought heat into the muscles, increased circulation, and restored vitality. For many elders, this was not only relief but also connection. The gentle hands of children or grandchildren offering care, the oil carrying warmth deeper than words. In daily meals, mustard seeds are equally powerful. A small sprinkle over beans or lentils transforms a simple dish into a tool of recovery. Ground seeds stirred into soups or scattered over eggs bring not only flavor, but also resilience. Each bite is both nourishment and renewal. The spice awakens digestion, sharpens the appetite, and feeds the body with minerals that muscles depend on to stay strong. Think of mustard as the match that relights your inner fire. When muscles feel cold, tired, or reluctant to move, it sparks them awake. Not with violence, but with heat. Not with force, but with encouragement. Its presence reminds the body that fatigue is not the end, only a pause. With a little spark, energy can return, and the heaviness of exhaustion can soften. With turmeric guarding against erosion, ginger awakening warmth, and mustard relighting the fire, the body begins to find balance again. But fire and energy must also be calmed. For while muscles need strength and circulation, they also need stability. And there is a spice, sweet and grounding, that works from the inside out to quiet inflammation at its root, beginning in the very place where all nourishment begins, the gut. When the body feels weak, the first thought is often of muscles or joints, yet much of the trouble begins in a place less visible, the gut. As digestion slows with age, meals that once gave strength may instead leave heaviness, bloating, or fatigue. This quiet imbalance in the digestive fire often fuels inflammation, and when the gut cannot properly absorb nutrients, muscles are the first to suffer. What begins as simple indigestion can quietly become a loss of strength, a fading of resilience, and a quicker decline in recovery. Here enters a spice both sweet and grounding, one that has traveled through centuries of kitchens, cinnamon. Behind its fragrance lies a gift for balance. Cinnamon steadies blood sugar, softens the spike and crash that follow a meal, and eases the waves of inflammation that rise with it. By calming these internal storms, it improves insulin sensitivity, which is the body's way of opening the door to protein and nutrients. When that door opens more easily, muscles can once again absorb what they need to stay whole. In this way, cinnamon works quietly, not only as a flavor but as a stabilizer of energy and a protector of strength. Generations before us already knew its comfort. In many Middle Eastern homes, cinnamon tea has long been served after meals, not merely as a treat but as a way to settle the fire inside. The warmth of the cup in hand, the steam rising, the subtle sweetness spreading across the tongue, this ritual was both medicine and meditation. It was a reminder that the meal was complete, digestion supported, and the body cared for. Bringing cinnamon into daily meals requires no elaborate preparation. A half teaspoon stirred into morning oats, sprinkled on coffee, or baked into a warm apple can be enough to steady energy through the day. Its flavor is familiar and welcoming, never intrusive, yet beneath its sweetness lies a discipline the body can trust. It does not rush or push. It steadies, grounds, and restores. Cinnamon is like the quiet elder in the family, the one who speaks softly, rarely interrupts, but whose presence always guides others back to balance. Subtle, grounding, and constant, it helps the body choose the right path, even when everything else feels uncertain. It does not fight for attention, yet its strength lies in consistency, the quiet assurance that day after day, the body can heal with gentle support. And so as turmeric guards, ginger awakens, mustard ignites, and cinnamon steadies, the circle of protection becomes complete. Together they form a rhythm, a shield of flavor and tradition that speaks both to the body's science and to the wisdom of generations. But the story does not end with the spices themselves. It ends with how we choose to live with them, how we allow their presence to remind us that we are not powerless against time. That reflection is where our journey now leads. Don't fight inflammation, feed against it. Thus, when we think of aging, it is easy to imagine decline as something inevitable, a tide we cannot resist. But the truth is more gentle, more forgiving. Inflammation, That quiet flame within is not the enemy. It is a signal, a message from the body that something needs attention. What matters most is not the signal itself, but the way we respond. And often, the response does not lie in complicated treatments or unreachable cures. It lies in the humble choices made at the table, in the kitchen, in the smallest rituals of daily life. Dr. Shigeki Hinohara understood this deeply. He lived not through extraordinary interventions, but through ordinary devotion to small acts, taking the stairs when he could, eating light meals, seasoning food with intention. For him, medicine was not only what came from a doctor's hand, it was also the food placed on a plate, the walks taken in silence, the decisions repeated with care. Each act built upon the next, creating a life that stretched beyond a century, not by chance but by consistency. Dr. Andrew Weil reminds us of the same truth in modern words. The kitchen is the best pharmacy, especially after 60. It is where inflammation can be tamed, where energy can be renewed, where resilience can be restored. The pills of nature do not come in bottles, but in jars of spices, in roots and seeds and fragrant bark that carry within them centuries of wisdom confirmed by science. Turmeric, ginger, mustard, and cinnamon. 4 flavors that are more than flavor. They are shields against erosion, sparks for renewal, matches for fire, and steady hands for balance. They do not promise miracles, they promise support. They remind the body that it is not alone in its struggle, that strength can be preserved, that energy can still flow. They belong not to the world of luxury or rarity, but to the world of the everyday, to kitchens where elders sit in quiet mornings, to meals that carry love, to traditions that whisper through time. And so the choice is simple, though never small. It is not about changing everything at once, not about demanding perfection from a body that has already given so much. It is about allowing one act of care to take root, one spice, one flavor, one gesture that turns nourishment into healing. These small acts, repeated day by day, are not just habits. They are declarations of dignity, resilience, and hope. The body still longs to live. It has not forgotten, it only asks to be reminded. And sometimes the reminder is as close as the cupboard, as familiar as the scent of cinnamon, as golden as turmeric, as sharp as ginger, as warming as mustard. Each one carries with it the possibility of renewal, not tomorrow, not someday, but beginning now, in the simplicity of daily life.